Hello, welcome to library training. My name is Eric, and I'm one of the librarians at Goshen College. In this session, we're going to cover resource types for social work. We're going to look at 3 different resources that you'll encounter when you do social work research, and I'll show you what they look like and how to find them. So let's jump right in. The first type of social work is peer-reviewed journals. You can find these in places like library websites or websites like Google Scholar. Let me show you an example here through one of our resources, a database called Social Index. I'm going to look at this. After we're logged in here, I'm going to enter into the database and do a search for child welfare and social workers and employee dismissal. Hopefully something that never happens to any of you. Okay, so let's look at this here. Let's look at results. Okay, so with this first result that came up, I'm going to open it by clicking on the Access Options PDF. This is going to a little bigger here. This is going to open up a peer-reviewed journal, a peer-reviewed article. A peer-reviewed article is published research, and it has gone through a particular process of which, once it is written, it is evaluated by other professionals in the field, and it is edited and marked up and given revisions before it can be formally published. So there are a few things to look for to make sure that you have a scholarly peer-reviewed article. One is to, when you see the resource, to take a look at it, to look for these elements. So the first thing I want to see is you see that it has an abstract. And this is going to give you an overview of the article. And as you see through it, you can see there is, so we can see a little bit through this publication too. You can see that there's in-text citations. And so that's going to be a sign that it's going through a scholarly process. There's various references, and then there's other research being pulled, so it's not just somebody in a vacuum making their comments. Let's look at the bottom of the first page. You will see that there is this BASW, and so that is actually the British Association of Social Workers, and that's the organization that publishes this. So that's another thing to look for, is you can see if it has some professional backing. If you go down a little bit more here, you can also see that there are some tables of some research that's been done. And so you can see, and then the type of study that they did. So you can see that the work that they have done with engaging with other scholars, doing their own research and compiling it. And then at the very bottom, looking at the references here. So you can see all the references of the research that they have done. The second type of resource I want to show you is one that's called gray literature. So I'm going to close these pages here. And I'm going to open a website to a smaller social work organization. So nacsw.org. And I'm going to look at the publications of this site. And you can see this is a professional organization. I'm going to look at convention proceedings. And then you can see some of the material that they have from their various events that they have had in the past. Great, and let's look at this one from 2019 here. And again, blow this up a little bit so it's viewable here. Gray literature is the scholarly literature that hasn't made its way into a peer-reviewed process, into a commercially published journal for whatever reason. It's information that's still backed by a national organization or backed by a government or backed by a nonprofit. It's written by professionals in the field. And you can see these are the professionals, and these are their presentations that they have done. And sometimes it will be in the form, like in this case, a conference proceeding or a conference presentation. Sometimes you'll see it in the form of an unpublished thesis, or sometimes you'll see it in a government report. So in this example here, as I had noted, it's from a conference proceeding. And you can see, like for each one here, the presentations, and you can see like these are the PowerPoint slides of these different presentations and the information here. You can see their names listed, their accreditations, and the organizations that they're associated with. So you can see the name of the person, their credentials, and then the university that they're associated with. Another place for gray literature is often government resources. So I'm going to open another tab and show you a different example. This is information from the Indiana government website, the Family and Social Services Administration department of the government. And here I'm going to scroll to the bottom and look for a resource guide. And then you'll find sometimes, and I'll pull this one up here. And again, here is this resource. And I'll show you, kind of go to the table of contents here. So you'll find oftentimes in government sites, there's different white papers and technical reports and the like. In this case, this is a resource guide for the Family and Social Services Administration. It gives a lot of great information published by professionals working for the government. The third piece I want to introduce you to are what's called reference materials. So let me close these tabs here and return to the library website. You often find also in social work that there are book chapters or books. I want to focus on reference materials first. This would be found not in a place like EBSCO or Social Index, but in either searching the library catalog, or which would be right here, or using a source like Credo Reference. I'm going to click into that right now. Reference resources materials are encyclopedia articles or book chapters that are going to focus on a particular area. Let me do a search here let's do this search here for family substance abuse social workers. And in this search that will come up, okay, let's look at the first result here. This is from the Wiley-Blackwell Encyclopedia of Family Studies. And I'm going to click on the article here. So you can see this is going to be an article from an encyclopedia. It had mentioned on the earlier page, and it's around 1,500 words. It contains an abstract, like that peer-reviewed article we had, and it contains in-text citations as well. So you'll see, and it's also written by a professionally published source. But this is the big difference here. The biggest difference is instead of a longer paper on a particular matter, these are going to be a little bit more, they're going to be shorter, and they're going to be a little bit more broad on a particular topic. So you can see with 1,500 words, I'm scrolling, and that's the end of it. It does have references at the bottom, as you would see in other academic work. What's great with Credo instead of Wikipedia, and you might be thinking this is a lot like Wikipedia, is that these are written by individuals that you know. You can have their names, like you can see here, and you can see what their professional affiliation is. So that's a quick introduction to resource types that you'll find in social work. My next step for you is going to be an activity where I'm going to show you 3 different types of resources. And I'm going to ask you what types of resources that they are. Thanks again for watching, and if you have any questions throughout your research, feel free to reach out to me. My email is library@goshen.edu.